Hey y'all, it's Tiara, the Oracle Coach. So I'm here and I was just wanting to talk to y'all about the two types of healers. So the first type of healer I'm going to tell you about is the one who is being prepared and is in a certain healing space themselves. So just because you are not fully healed or like aligned and in a place where you can pour into others does not mean that you're not a healer. First of all, I believe that everybody's a healer because you are supposed to heal yourself. So being that that's what I consider a healer to be, I feel like everybody's a healer, but I don't believe that everyone is meant to be healing on people from the place where they are, other people, because there are healers. Okay, I'm going to get into the second type of healer. That's the second type. I'm at the first type of healer. First type of healer is anybody. It's you. You're the first type of healer. You're a healer. You can heal yourself. But you may be in a place right now where you're not able to pour into other people. You're not able to hold space for other people. And that's okay if you're not at that place. If you're connected to a bunch of people who are like not holding space for you, who are thinking you're selfish, if you need time to yourself or some solitude, some retreat, if you're around people who just want to take from you and you don't have anybody pouring into you or holding space for you, and you don't know how to really just do that for yourself, and you're not just okay with not having anybody to vent to or anybody to pour into you, and you can just pour into yourself type thing, because we're not all at that place, and that's okay. But if you're around a bunch of people who aren't able to give that to you, you're not going to be able to hold space for people, honestly. Now, you may feel like you want to, because the healer in you is like, I want to help people. I want people to feel better. I want to allow this person to be in my energy, and I want to hold space for them. That's what you want to do, but you're not prepared because you still don't have people reciprocating, holding space for you, or being very genuine with you. So then when you have people come and like, okay, so like I've had situations where I've had to live with people. I came from homelessness. That is my story. And I've had to live with people, and I had stopped doing that because whenever I would live with someone, it never, ever, I don't have not one story where it feels that they got tired of me being there very, very quickly and holding space for me, because they weren't at a place where they really could hold space for me. They thought they wanted to when they first said it, like, oh yeah, I want to help people. I want you come stay with me. It's cool. But then very quickly, things that I was doing was starting to bother them because they don't know how to even process their own emotions. So certain stuff I'm doing triggering them. It could be the littlest little thing. It could be something that they don't even do themselves. A lot of times people have these expectations. They're like, oh, she came and stayed here, and now I'm here. And they're like, well, damn, she could at least wash the dishes for everybody in the house. That's the least she can do being here. Even if she's paying rent, she can still be doing that. Oh, she could at least be doing this, because it's not as genuine as you thought. And I'm talking to you. You got to be honest with yourself here. Were you as genuine as you thought when you held space for a person and you thought that you could do it? Or, for example, I'll talk to someone. I have people who I talk to about my problems, because I genuinely believe that when you're going through the part of your processing something where you've been hurt, like you broke up with a lover or a friendship ended or something, and you really need to talk about that shit, and you're like, that bothers me. You need to let it bother you however long it's going to bother you. You need to process your feelings. And it's not going to be forever. People think it's going to be forever, but people who are not at a place where they are genuinely at a healed and aligned spot where they can hold space for you will get tired of you talking about that shit real quickly, because they can't really hold space for you. They don't have anyone holding space for them. They aren't really aligned with themselves all the way. So they're like, I'm tired of hearing about this bitch fussing about this same ass dude. I'm tired of hearing about this motherfucker talking about this same ass girl. I'm tired of hearing them talk about this same situation. You're like, it's old, it's tired. Well, the thing is, you're a healer, but you're not ready to heal people until you get to a place where you can genuinely hold space for people. And that's not to say that you keep everybody in your energy. Now, don't get me wrong. I cut some people off. And I take my time and I be like, I'm going to pull away until I'm able to hold space for you again. Because, and if you ain't hearing me, I'm not going to keep staying around you listening to you. If you are just a victim and you don't ever want to come out, and I can tell, I'm not going to keep holding space for you. That's just because you're choosing. But if I know that you are just, there are people who are just going through. They're just going through and they're processing through their feelings. And some people can't allow you to have your sacral chakra moments, plural, because they don't even know how to have their own sacral chakra moments. So they're all like forcing and imposing this false positivity. That's what they call it. False positivity. That's what it is. It's false positivity because you're not genuinely happy and okay. You're just saying that because it makes you feel better. You ain't really dealt with your shadow or your shit. There are a lot of healers that are still needing to deal with their shadow and their shit, and they won't even admit and deal with their sacral chakra energy and say, I still feel some type of way about that. And this person is triggering that, and that's why I can't hold space for them in that area, because they're triggering that and I don't want to look at it. That's one type of healer. Moving on. The second type of healer is the type of healer who is prepared and ready to hold space for other people. So that means, like for me, it doesn't affect me if I'm talking to someone and they're like, oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. That don't affect me. That ain't gonna do nothing to me. That's not gonna trigger me or nothing like that, because I don't carry my past no more. That stuff don't bother me. I can hold space for you. But if you keep on doing, victimizing yourself and you don't want to grow, and I can tell, I'm not going to hold space the same for you. I'm not going to keep you in my energy either. But you're not going to be able to drain me. You get what I'm saying? Because some people are drained by people like that because they're the other type of healer. You get drained when you're the other type of healer, because when you're the type of healer who can hold space for other people, you know how to disconnect every time from every interaction. You're not going to keep on being connected to those interactions because you know how to disconnect. You know that after every conversation, you got to disconnect. And you actually know how to do that because you went through your own healing process and learned how to do these things. That's the place where I am now. So it doesn't drain me when other people come to me with their problems. So it doesn't bother me. If you need to keep talking about it, keep talking about it, keep talking about it, keep talking about it. As long as you're not a victim, I don't want to hear you victimizing yourself. I'm not going to keep doing that, because I'm going to end up telling you, like, you're not no victim. You're not going to keep cursing yourself in front of me. I'm not going to let you do that. And I just disconnect. I just disconnect from people. Sometimes that means I'm not going to talk to you for a while or whatever that means. But I can hold space for you freely, because no disconnection is because you're draining me or doing anything to me, because it's not doing nothing to me. Nothing. I disconnect from those energies. I don't stay attached to your energy. When I'm done talking to you, I'm done with the energy. That's the second type of healer. That's a healer who's ready and able to hold space for other people genuinely. And I think that the misconception is that people who are the first type of healer, they just know they're a healer, so they think they can heal everybody, and they just be going out here hurting people because you wasn't ready. And then people come to you and you're like, oh, come on. And then when they're looking for that pouring in, you can't keep giving it to them because you don't got nobody pouring into you. See, here's the thing for me. Like, at one point, it was like I had somebody that was holding space for me, and I was able to hold space for other people because they were holding space for me. Then that was disconnected because I don't know, that person maybe didn't want to hold space for me anymore because they had the same, they were the first healer. They're still healing their stuff, so they couldn't have me around. That's fine. I accepted that, and I took some time of solitude away because I was like, I'm not going to be able to hold space for people right now because I have to hold it for myself. But see, I did that. And so now I'm opening back up, like opening my inbox back up and things like that. So now I can hold space for y'all again because I'm poured into myself. I held space for myself. I took time away. See, The second type of healer knows that they have to do that sometimes too, especially when they don't have people that are holding space for them all the time. And I'm not saying I don't have people to hold space for me just because one person left. I'm saying that person was like around a lot and we would talk a lot and I could go to them a lot. Whereas other people, they have their lives and they hold space for themselves. And some of them are, you know, the first type of healer. They're still healing their own stuff. So sometimes they can't hold space for me. Not from the place of full allowance of me to feel, because then it starts to trigger their stuff and they can't deal with that. So I can't always go to those people for that. And I don't hold that against anybody, because second type of healers don't do that. Those healers who are available and able, they don't hold things against people for the fact that they're not able to hold space in certain areas. You know what I mean? So I just came to talk about that. I wasn't going to make this video long because I already made a video today, but I did want to talk to y'all about these two types of healers, because I want the first type of healer to understand it's okay to hold space for people, but please keep in mind and be careful with how you're doing it, because you're creating traumas for other people when you can't handle those triggers. Make sure you pay attention to those triggers. Be like, okay, what they're doing is triggering me. Why? A trigger is not something that's their fault. It's not anybody else's fault. The trigger is something within me that I need to heal. It's part of my shadow that I need to face. So what is it? What is it? How else can I hold space for myself without making this person feel like crap and like telling them that it's their fault that I'm drained and I'm exhausted and your energy is just fucking with me? You need to learn how to deal with your own stuff. You need to learn how to detach when you're done with the conversation. You need to learn how to detach when you're done with that interaction, so that you're not feeling drained, and replenish yourself, how to call your energy back. You know how to do that? Otherwise, you are definitely not the second healer. You're the first type of healer, and you're not ready to be healing on other people. And it's okay to admit that. It's okay to say, be assertive and say, hey, you know, we've been talking about your situation, and I really want to hold space for you, but I can't, because I still need somebody to hold space for me, and I'm exhausted, and I still need to learn these things. But y'all, you know, I know a lot of y'all won't do that, because then you have to admit that you ain't all together like you want to say. You ain't all put together like you want to say. I'm the second type of healer, but I'm not sitting here telling nobody that I'm all put together, because like I said, I had to pull away. And I told people that. I said I had to pull away. So I'm going to delete Messenger, and I'm not going to hold space for anybody right now. I'm not talking to anybody. That's what I was honest. I'm not all put together, but I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, I'm not going to be able to hold space for y'all right now, because I'm not okay. I'm upset. I lost my friend. I'm upset. Like, I will say those things. Like, that doesn't bother me to say it anymore. That's a huge thing for the first healer to understand, until you get to a point where you're not bothered by saying, I'm hurt because, you know, something just happened. You don't even have to tell them exactly what it is, but even admitting to yourself or admitting to a good friend, like, if you can't admit those things, then you have a lot more healing to do to get to being at a place where you can hold space for other people as a healer. You can't even admit to yourself what's wrong. How can you hold space for somebody else and tell them what's wrong? You can, but you're not going to be able to do it for very long. You can get tired of them because you're tired of yourself. Let's talk about it. I'm going to be real with you. I'm very raw, real with people. Because I'm going to be really raw and real with me. I'll be blaming myself. I'll be like, that's your fault. You let that happen. You let that person in your energy. What's to it? That's me. I'm gonna do that. But so, you know, I encourage the first healer to start looking at those things that trigger you and stop just blaming everybody else and projecting. Don't allow yourself to do that. Anytime you're looking at somebody else, you're projecting. I'm not projecting. No, I ain't projecting. They really doing that. No, look at yourself. It don't matter what they really doing. Look at yourself. Why does it bother you so much? Exactly. Because you got to be able to answer those questions for yourself. I encourage you to look at every time you're triggered and look at yourself and don't blame nobody else. You are allowed to disconnect from people when the season is over. But you still need to look at yourself. I don't care who you disconnect from. there's something in you about them that you do not like. There's a reason why whatever they're doing you don't like, and you need to find out what it is, because it shouldn't trigger you that much. There are things about people that are nothing like me that I don't like, and it don't trigger me. I don't give a fuck. Like, it shouldn't trigger you and like make you feel like you just have to like you just feel overwhelmed about it. There's a certain way that you look and you see, because you know that that's a thing that's a trigger for you. I don't like I was trying to think of something besides I don't like when people sneeze. It's so disgusting. It just really grosses me out. But I'm like I'm not projecting when I say I don't like when people sneeze. It's not like I'm finna be, but if somebody sneezes in my space, I'm not gonna be like, I'm never talking to you again. You can't be in my energy, you sneezing. I'm not gonna do all that. Like, I don't like that you're sneezing because I think it's disgusting. But if you don't cover your mouth, I'm gonna be like, hey, can you please cover your mouth? You just sneezed everywhere. All over my food. All over me. I can just see the spittle in the air. Like, why would you do that? And I'm going to say that to you. If I feel so triggered that I'm like, this bitch just sneezed all over me. Spittles everywhere. I'm never talking to her again. I'm going to tell such and such how nasty this bitch is that she sneezed everywhere. Like, I've never sneezed everywhere. I know I sneezed everywhere before. But I do try to cover my mouth because I don't like when other people do it, especially if other people are around. But it's disgusting to me. And I think that part of that, look, I can even look at that and be like, I can still look at myself in that situation and be like, I know that when I sneeze like that, spit's flying everywhere. Like, even when I cover my mouth, it's just... So I know that when you sneezed everywhere and spit everywhere. I know you did. I know you did. So now I'm grossed out. That's why I'm grossed out by it. But I'm not going to let it make me be like, you're a horrible person for sneezing everywhere, you disgusting, horrible monster. I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to just be like, can you cover your mouth next time, please? And I'm going to get away from you for a second and then come back over there when you're done having your sneeze attack. And I'm going to be like, bless you. With a stank face, because ill. I don't even know. I hope that that's making some sense. Like, okay, somebody is doing something that you don't like. They're messing with, they're in an abusive relationship. And you used to be in an abusive relationship. And you've been in one before, but you got out. And now you're like, you're so stupid for staying, you dummy. Stupid. Who does that? Like, you know that you were stupid before. So why call this person stupid and make them feel like that? How you didn't want to be made to feel. Why don't you just tell them, hey, let me just tell you, ain't gonna never get better. I learned that from my experience. Okay, they still want to stay? That's what's up. I'm gonna back up off you. I'm gonna separate myself from that. Those are choices. And that's different than feeling like you have to tear somebody down. Now I'm gonna go talk about how stupid this person is to somebody else because it bothers me so much because they've triggered my past when I was being abused, because you really never healed from it. I healed from my abuse. Like, with me and my ex, who, you know, was abusive to me, we still have to be in contact because of children. So we're friends. I'm past that. That don't bother me no more, because you can't have me in that way. You can't access me like that ever again. So why would it bother me? It don't bother me for other people to be in abuse. Like, I used to couldn't be a domestic abuse legal advocate. I had to leave that job because I was not the healer who could sit there and listen to these people talk about their traumatic situations, and I still wasn't healed from mine. So now they're not re-traumatizing me. Now I'm being re-traumatized by hearing this and being triggered because I haven't healed it, and I'm over here trying to work a job where I'm talking to people who've been through this. And I used to think that it was awful that the place where I worked, because I was an intern, I didn't work there, but they didn't want to hire people who had been in a domestic within a year. A year ain't even long enough if you ask me. But now I understand. Back then I didn't understand. Back then I was like, that's not fair. People should be able to go through their process, and who knows better than the person that's been through it. But who's going to be triggered faster than the person that just got done going through it? I think I was still like going through it, kind of. Like, we were still together. I think he was, like, in prison, though. But whatever. It's just things like that. Like, you gotta be able to see yourself, look at yourself, and why these things bother you. Why things bother you. Why you're being triggered by these things. Why you're being traumatized or whatever and whatnot. Why is this re-traumatizing me if I'm healed from it? I should be able to not feel nothing about that. Like, empathy or sympathy, but not triggered and traumatized. I'm talking about spit, and I see me keep on spitting anyway. But see, that would be the shit. I'll be like, you talking, you spitting, and knowing, because I know that I'll be doing that sometimes, and I'll be like, damn, I know they just hit your food. I seen it. Because you know what stuff be doing. That's why I bother. I'm telling you, like, that's really what it be. You know from close range what stuff be, so it bothers you, but it shouldn't traumatize and trigger you. Otherwise, that means that you still have some growing to do and healing in that area still. That's just what it means, first healer. The second healer, they're like, I remember what that was like. I've been through that experience. You wouldn't even know the second healer been through it unless they talk about it, because they don't act like it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I encourage you to do your healing work. Hold space for you. It's okay that you're not ready to heal other people and be out in the field healing all these people like the miraculous guru and stuff. It's okay to get to that point. Sometimes it takes years, but it'll go faster if you just admit that you're not ready to do that for other people, really. It's okay. It's okay. I promise. All right, divine creators, that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, tell me how this made you feel in the comments. Tell me how it resonated. Tell me any questions. Ask me any questions that you have. Tell me what your thoughts are. I want to hear it. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of all other videos that I make on teachings, spiritual teachings, and such. And also I do weekly Zodiac readings, so keep up with those. To book an in-depth personal reading with me, though, you can see that information in the description. Also, if you feel so led to leave a donation, then that information is in the description as well. But until next time, peace.